does that. Jonah's back on the shore alive, and now he gets a second chance. This time he does what he's told. He gets on the right ship, sails north, crosses the desert, arrives in the city of Nineveh, tells them, God told me to tell you that in 30 days if you do not repent, your city will collapse and demolish. And to his surprise, they agree. They say, okay, we hear you. And they go through a process of fixing what went wrong, and the town is saved. And then all this happens on chapter A of the book of Jonah. Then the final 3 chapters, it's discussions between him and God about, why did you do this to me? I went through all this agony, and in the end, you didn't even destroy the city? Okay, so it's actually a very, very interesting story. The whole thing is, first of all, for you to know about Jonah and the fish. It happened here in Jaffa. Also gives us an idea of how old Jaffa is, because there's a story in the Jaffa that's mentioned in the Bible. Okay? It's hard to tell exactly the years because the book of Jonah is a little bit out of context. It's not connected to any king, so we can tell where the sequences happen. It's a little bit out of context. Okay, it may be some kind of legend or moral story. All right, but there is another story about Jaffa from someone else's mythology.
The guy who goes in it.
The Greeks. A story called Andromeda's Rock. You heard of Andromeda?
The queen.
Okay, this is really strange because we think of the Greeks as they're like far away. What are they doing here? So the beauty of Andromeda, she's the daughter of the king Cepheus and the queen Cassiopeia, was in the eyes of her mother even greater than that of the sirens. Taking offense, the water nymphs demanded a punishment, and Poseidon, the god of the sea, lifted a high tide, and a sea monster ravaged the land of the Philistines. Cepheus consulted with the oracle, and he announced that Poseidon will not be appeased unless Andromeda is sacrificed to the monster. Compelled by the people of Jaffa, the king chains his daughter to an enormous rock facing the city. See the rocks? And leaves her to her fate. And that is where Perseus, the son of Zeus and Diana, found her after having crushed the sea monster. Having been promised the hand of Andromeda, if he succeeds in saving her, Perseus put on Hermes' winged sandals, approached the monster from behind with the speed of the gods, and beheaded him. Upon falling into the water, the head gave rise to the rocks of Jaffa. Perseus saves Andromeda and triumphantly carries her to Jaffa, where they married and lived happily ever after.
Aww.
Until these days, we call these rocks the rocks of Andromeda. Okay? So there's 2 stories with like sea creatures: a whale, a big fish, a sea monster. Okay? Look at that building over there. You see a bell tower with a clock on top of that? It's a church. Okay? It's a church called St. Peter's Vision Church. The Vision of St. Peter. Okay? The book, this is from the New Testament. A book called Acts 10. Okay? Peter, one of the disciples, he comes here from Caesarea. He falls into some kind of trance, into a coma. He gets hungry. And he's hungry. While the food is prepared for him, he falls into a trance. He sees the sky open, and an object that resembles a tablecloth attached to it by 4 corners descends and lowers itself to the ground. And it held all the quadrupeds and reptiles of the earth and the birds of the sky. And a voice says to him, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter says, "No, Lord, for I have never eaten anything unclean." Okay, he's a Jewish person. He obeys the laws of dietary. He eats kosher. And I have never eaten anything unclean or impure. But the voice says to him, what God has declared impure is not unclean. Okay? This is where Christianity breaks away from Judaism with the laws of dietary, with Peter's vision in Jaffa. With this thing, the whole group of what Christians, they put away the obligation to be kosher. So why do I tell these three stories here? Jonah with the fish, big fish. Andromeda with the monster. St. Peter with the reptiles and the quadrupeds and all the creatures. Okay? There's something about this big blue thing, okay, that for us humans, it's a mystery. Until 50 years ago, 100 years ago, no one knew what goes on underneath. No submarines, no technology, no Dopplers, no scuba diving. Okay, it's like the big blue. It's scary. It's dangerous. It's all the mythology comes from underneath. Creatures, scary things, octopuses. All right. We can travel around Israel for 10 days, ignore this, but we can't because it affects our life all the time. With these stories, look at all the mythology. From all different faiths. One from our Bible, one from the Greek mythology, one from the Christian scriptures. Okay? All coming together in one place in Jaffa. Okay? We're gonna skip